told you that how to loop through a string. I have explained that initially I is equal to 0. I means index variable. It is initialized as 0 until condition I less than 5. Whenever I equal to 5, loop terminates. Loop gets break. Every time loop will be I will be index variable incremented to 1. Plus I means incrementation. Printf percentage, this is called percentage C means format specifier will be used to get every character C. So whenever you want to get total print of Volvo, here percentage S will be used to get all Volvo total string. \n will be used to what? To get new line. See, Volvo, VO, every next line character. Okay. Car name is the array name. Inside of this brackets I is what? Index variable. Return 0 compulsory. So now I am going to remove this total code. Then I will write the code here. Okay. Nothing is here. See, if I run this, your code window and that is what result window will be. So result will be because it will show leave it that whatever in the result window. Okay, now I am going to write the code here. Hash first, then include that library which is working with stdio.h. Before this we need to keep the greater than smaller than symbols and then okay stdio.h. include stdio.h. This library will be used to work with input and output functions. Next we need to write int main, that is very important, main function, because C compiler looks for this main function. Inside of this main function whatever the statements are there, they will be executed. Understood that? If you start flower brace and don't forget to close the close brace. Now inside of this main function, because C compiler looks for this main function, inside of this whatever we write, every statement will be executed. Compiler checks all the lines at a time for any errors, that is called compilation. Then after, if there is no any error, and it executes that. Okay, now come to the point. So task is what? Task, first of all you write here task comment double comment, okay, 2 forward slashes, loop through what? Loop through a string. Okay, loop through a string. Accordingly we need to write the code. First of all, loop through a string. First of all we need to create a string. I told you that what? String always there is no any default string, so we need to use character data type. Then name, array will be created for string. Array, any array name, any array. Student is an array. Their car Volvo, so car name, as per that car name is an array name. Then after square brackets, always now car name is an array. Understood that? Inside of this now represent a string in double quotation marks. Volvo, this is the car, then termination with semicolon. Now come down. So one string is defined. That string is assigned to what? String is assigned to car name. Car name is an array. Okay, now loop through, task is what? Loop through a string. So we need to use for loop. Okay, so before that I is what? One index variable, index I, that is to be defined. I means index variable. So next, index variable Y, every character has an index. VO, first character V has the index number 0. Next O has the index number 1, like that. So for loop, so inside of for loop we need to use what? Like this. Okay, so inside of this for loop, we need to first represent I to be initialized. I is equal to what? Initial value, we need to assign a value 0. Then next condition, one condition we need to, because this loop, how many times this loop to be rotated, how many times this loop to be run. So until the condition satisfied, less than 5. Why less than 5, I will explain. Next, plus plus I, this is called this I index value to be incremented. Okay. So now what I am doing here, keep this in brackets. Now inside of this flower braces, we need to take a printout statement. Okay, that is what for printout, print f, generally used in C language. So printf for what, we need to help the compiler. My dear compiler, you need to work with which data type, we need to mention, we need to help the compiler. Otherwise compiler, it doesn't know that. We need to help, we need to say compiler, my dear compiler, now we are working with which data type. Here our data type is what, it is a string, but I want to get printout of one character by character. So here format specifier must be always, format specifier must be started with percentage symbol, then C. Okay, backslash n. Why? Because so every character must have separate line, must be printed in separate line. Understood that? Then after comma, we need to help the compiler to look for where, look in where, in the array car name. So we need to mention as it is car name. To print car name, okay, in the square brackets I need to mention the position of index, because loop every time identify the character by index, by the index. Next, come down. Okay, now return 0. Return 0 is very important. I told you that many times. Return 0 indicates that, so now your code is over. After return 0 there is no any statement. This is the simple code we have written how to loop through a string. So now let us see what will be the result here. So it is getting error. Why? Because see, you need to check back that error is where here this what you need to keep here. Okay, so one is this error. You run this code, now check back that what happened. Now how many? Only one error is there. That is where car name, here it is indicating that you have missed the semicolon. Car name index I, then semicolon. In C language every statement must be terminated with the semicolon. Now run. So then what? Let us see what happened here. You are getting what? Only one character. What happened? Why one character? That is very important. We need to find that. All the characters, we need to get all the characters. By why we are getting one character? See, why are getting error? this return 0 statement, because your loop for loop, that is to be terminated with this, because for loop that is to be terminated with this flower brace. After that, now for loop started. Okay, inside of this for loop printf statement is there, then after return 0. Understood? That's why loop not rotating. Okay, now error where, in which line? Error in which line? Here, this flower brace that is to be kept inside of this one before the semicolon. Okay, before the semicolon. Now remove this. Okay, now run this code. Now you will get printout of all characters, but still we are getting error. Which line? Understood that. See, why we are getting error? One is this is extra, this brace is no need. Why? Because your for loop ended after printf. Okay, then after return 0. Okay, that's why it is getting error. Okay, understood that. Main function, where is the main function? So from here, this is the open brace for main function, this is the close brace for main function. So whenever main function is started with open brace, this is closed. But for loop, we have for loop started with this brace, so for loop closed with this brace, so no any extra brace is required. Now you run this code, you will get the result 1 by 1 Volvo. You are getting Volvo 1 by 1. So now if you want to keep some character in front of this, you can write like this: character. Okay, character, every character, if you want to see character. Okay, this is the character for every character. Remove this comma, you will get character 1 by 1, character V0 LV. If you want to write character at 0 index, character at index, So what I am doing here, let us try to understand one colon I have removed. So I will explain how we are getting. So here what I did here, try to understand this D symbol I have used here. Why D symbol? The D symbol I have used to get the D is a format specifier. D format specifier used here to get the index value. Index value is what? Integer value. Index, every index is 0, 1, 2, 3. So index value. So to get that index value, percentage format specifier D. Otherwise I have used characters. Format specifier C will be used to get the printout of every character. Two format specifiers we need to use here, and this character at index, that is a string value. So this forward specifier D will take the value of I every time loop rotates. Initially 0 index V and 1 index. Okay. Now then after this character C, my percentage C will be used to print the character. Okay. So I for what? To I for means I is what? I initial I is 0. So every time wherever loop goes, that index value will be taken as a printout. Okay. Understood that? This is the story. You are very easy to write this code. Understood that? You can use one app is there, mobile app, Android based, coding C. Within this also you can write the code like this. Okay. That is what our web editor, online web editor, you can write the code there. In the C coding C app is here, you can write the code also here. Very simple. You can write.